Hi everyone, Petrik here. In today's video, I'll be talking about all the books that I acquired last month, in the month of February. And this month, honestly, I got some pretty damn amazing books, including one of the most beautiful box set that I have ever seen and now own. Well, honestly, it is the most beautiful box set that I have ever seen. It is insane, and I will talk about that later. But first of all, this mic you see here, this is a new mic, so I'm testing a new audio, and also this is a new camera. I hope that they look better, and yeah, I'm upgrading my equipment a bit, and hopefully it turns out well. And yeah, let's talk about all the books that I got last month. Let's start from the books that I bought first. The first one is The Fangs of War by E.J. Doble. This is the first book in the Blood and Steel saga, a grim dark fantasy novel by a very young author. He published this when he was still 22 years old, and I have just started reading this one. I think it's still too soon for me to tell. I've read only the first chapter and also the prologue, and no, I don't skip prologue ever, even though some people do skip prologues. But yeah, I never skip prologues, and I hope that I will end up enjoying this one. I certainly don't mind the writing from reading the prologue and also the first chapter. And this is the page and wick edition. As I said, this is the spine, this is the back cover, and also this is the edges. I think it's beautiful. The edges is done by Aliesa on Instagram, and here it comes with this beautiful end paper by Panju Art. This is a scene from the prologue itself. And yeah, I am really looking forward to continuing with this one. And after this, I also bought a copy of Fairy Tale by Stephen King. This is the UK hardcover edition, and I bought this one on a very huge discount. I think I bought this at about $5 or $4 US. And yeah, this is a first edition hardcovers, and I think it's quite a beautiful one. I mean, just this quote on the spine here. And honestly, the main reason why I bought this edition, other than the reason that it's cheap, well, this book, Fairy Tale, every chapter opens with this beautiful interior artworks. I think, if I remember correctly, every odd number chapters, all of them are done by Gabriel Rodriguez, and every even number chapters, all of them are illustrated by Nico Delort. For example, this is chapter 2. It has been a long time since I read any book by Stephen King, and I really hope Fairy Tale can kind of rejuvenate my interest to read more of his books. It's not like I dislike Stephen King's books, but I always felt a bit mixed about them, especially regarding his endings, and I hope Fairy Tale will be a better one. So those are the two books that I bought in the month of February, and well, I think it is time to show you the most beautiful box set that I ever own now. Seriously, it is gorgeous, and I want to say thank you so much to Yen Press for sending me a copy of the limited edition of Pandora Box or Pandora Hearts by Jun Mochizuki. I have recorded a separate video for this one because it is just too difficult for me to lift it. It is 12 kilograms. Yeah, the box set is very sturdy, it is beautifully designed, and it is heavy. And here it is. So this is the Pandora box set. It is honestly one of the most beautiful box set that I have ever seen. Maybe even the most beautiful box set. And this is pretty much the limited edition Pandora Hearts collection by Jun Mochizuki. So it will collect the entire series in one box set. I mean, just take a look at this design. This is absolutely gorgeous. I wish novels have this kind of beautiful box set. Here we have Osvesalius, the main character of the series. And of course, this is not the end of the design. You can see over here, we have a knob on the left and also on the right. Again, beautiful designs. You can see all the chains here. Chains is a big part of the series Pandora Hearts. So let's open this. Honestly, it still feels kind of insane and surreal that I own this beautiful edition. So thank you so much to Yen Press for sending me the entire set. Take a look at this. This is the entire 24 volumes of Pandora Hearts divided into 12 volumes. And here you can also witness there is another artwork being put on the box set. Isn't this super gorgeous? And it fills me with satisfaction that the design, all of them matches one another. And at another side of the box set, you can see these absolutely beautiful illustrations by Jun Mochizuki. Such an amazing mangaka and artist. And tada! When you take out all the books from the box set, you will see this hidden message and beautiful lettering on the bottom of the box set. A messenger from the abyss comes to those who have committed deadly sins. This is gorgeous. And finally, this is how the series looks when you line all the volumes together. This is volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, volume 5, volume 6, and then moving on here, this is volume 7, volume 8, 9, 10, 11, and finally, the last volume, volume 12. I really love the design. For example, when you open the flap, here as you can see, there's a window right to the character, and this is how it looks. And the same design is applied to every volume in the series. I think this is amazing. And once again, I just want to say thank you so much to Yen Press for sending me this limited edition. Pandora Hearts is such a criminally underrated and one of the most meticulously plotted series that I have ever read out of every storytelling medium. I think it is an amazing series, and if you haven't read this, I strongly recommend you to pick it up. Believe me, the world of manga is vast and there are so many underrated series, such as Pandora Hearts by Jun Mochizuki. So what do you think about that box set? I think it is absolutely stunning. And once again, thank you so much to Yen Press for sending me a copy of this beautiful Pandora box. I will truly treasure this. It is one of my favorite series of all time. I cannot wait to do a second read of it using this beautiful paperback edition contained inside this Pandora box. And now let's move on to all the books that I got from self-published fantasy authors or publishers. And I got the first one is Kraken Rider Z by Dirk Ashton and also David Estes. I am a huge fan of Dirk Ashton's Patronus trilogy. I think some of you might know about that if you have been keeping up with my channel ever since I created it. And yeah, I've been talking about that as one of the most underrated fantasy series, and I stand by my words. And because of that, I have been very excited to start reading the first book in Dirk Ashton's newest series, and it is Kraken Rider Z. This one, it is a progression fantasy, and it will be about Kraken Rider versus Dragon Rider. I think it will be a fun one, and I look forward to reading it. And Kraken Rider Z is also published by Raidmark. And speaking of Raidmark, the next book that I got, it is from their Kickstarter campaign, When Swords Fall Silent by many authors. This is a collection of short stories or this is an anthology about assassins written by many authors. Michael J. Sullivan, Mary Brennan, Andrew Rowe, R.J. Barker, M.L. Wang, and also Philip C. Quantrill. And yeah, a lot of authors are contributing their short story to this one. And it is a beautiful edition. This is the spine, this is the back cover, and also check out this and paper by Daniel Kamarudin. And something even more special is that every title inside this anthology, all of them have this beautiful black and white illustrations by Felix Ortiz. For example, this is War Powers by Jonathan French. And let's take a look at two more. Let's take a look at one more. This is May Luck Be With You by Michael J. Sullivan. As you can probably tell, this is Royce. Yeah, Royce from the Rairia Revelations or the Rairia Chronicles. I look forward to reading every short story inside this book. And speaking of Michael J. Sullivan earlier, well, Michael and also Robin Sullivan sent me a copy of Nolan Leatherbound edition. Yeah, this is Nolan, the first book in the Rise and Fall trilogy. And I think this one, if I'm not mistaken, this beautiful leatherbound edition, the cover art is illustrated by Alan Morris. But the second book and also the third book in the trilogy, that's Farilyn and also Ezra Haddon, both of them are illustrated by Sarah Sullivan. So yeah, it is a different artist. Cover art is done by a different artist, Sarah Sullivan, as well as expected. She is Michael and Robin Sullivan's daughter, and she also did a great job with those cover art. And as for this one, I think this is my favorite cover art of the entire trilogy though. And it comes with this beautiful end paper by Mark Simonetti. And it is, of course, signed by Michael as well. This one. I have read the entire trilogy. Ezra Haddon was one of my favorite books last year. And of course, I got a copy of this chunky book. This is Ezra Haddon. And as I said, this cover art is illustrated by Sarah Sullivan. And I just want to say thank you so much to Michael and Robin for sending me the entire Rise and Fall trilogy. This is the end paper, again illustrated by Mark Simonetti, and this one is the biggest of them all. I think when it comes to the matter of letterbound edition, the only thing that Michael J. Sullivan needs to put in his special edition is more interior illustrations. I think that would elevate the value of his special edition so much more, and I hope he will start doing that in the Rairia Chronicles. But for now, I just want to say thank you so much to Michael and Robin, and they also sent me this one. This is the slipcase for the Rise and Fall trilogy. And yeah, it is a beautiful slipcase. So when you put all the books inside, this is how the slipcase look like. It is quite sturdy, not as sturdy as the box set for Pandora box, but it is enough for a slipcase. And this is the design being put on the slipcase, the Rise and Fall. You can see the pillar is still very strong here, and then it starts to crumble as we reach Ezra Haddon. I think that is a nice touch to the story inside the books. And moving on to the last self-published fantasy book I got, again, this is another beautiful special edition. As I said, this is a glorious book haul video, for me anyway. And this is Pelkings by Ben Gelly. This is the sequel to The Written, and just like When Swords Fall Silent that I just talked about earlier, well, and also the Rise and Fall trilogy, this is also funded and produced through Kickstarter campaign. And just like the first one, The Written, this is more or less the same as far as quality and also the number of interior artworks. And it comes with this map by Soraya Corcoran, and then it has about 8 or 9 interior illustrations by Dennis Kornev, such as this one. The title of this piece is Battle in the Streets, and again, as I said, it has about 8 or 9 interior illustrations, and all of them are done in blue color scheme, because The Written was done in a red color scheme, black and white and also red. And this time it is blue, and after that we will have green and finally yellow. So once all the books are produced, I think this will be a nice set of beautiful special edition by Ben Gelly. And I really need to start reading this Norse inspired fantasy series. Thank you so much to Ben Gelly for sending me this absolutely beautiful review copy. I'm looking forward to reading Ben Gelly's books for the first time as soon as I can. And moving on to the final section of this book haul video, time to talk about the books that I got from traditional publishers other than Yen Press. And first, let's start from Orbit Books. I got a review copy of The Trials of Empire by Richard Swan. I have read and reviewed this one. This is a great trilogy. The first book was The Justice of Kings, and then The Tyranny of Fate, and finally The Trials of Empire. This one, just like the first 2 books, features a cover art illustrated by Martina Vachkova, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, take a look at the details of the fabric here. It is beautiful, and there is these 2-headed snakes, very related to the content. I did not love this one as much as the previous 2 books, but overall, this is still a great conclusion to the Empire of the Wolf trilogy, and I definitely look forward to reading more books by Richard Swan. And speaking of Richard Swan, I will be posting an interview I just did with him and also his editor, James Logan, or James Long, who is also the author behind the Silver Blood Promise, next week. I hope many of you will tune in to watch that one. And then another book that I got from Orbit Books, this is a review copy, and I haven't read this one. This is Phantom Folk by Eliza Chan, and yeah, this cover art is beautiful. Orbit Books almost always nailed it when it comes to the matter of cover art. This one is illustrated by Kelly Chong. Kelly Chong has been doing a lot of great illustrations for Asian-inspired fantasy novel, and this is, of course, another example. I mean, this is a wraparound cover art. It's beautiful. I have owned this one, not this edition, the Advanced Reading Copy edition, for quite a while now, but I still haven't gotten around to reading it. I'm still right now a bit worried though about Phantom Folk. I mean, I checked Goodreads just now, and it seems like the rating is very mixed. So hopefully, whenever I get around to this one, I will end up enjoying it more than the majority of readers, hopefully. Thank you so much to Orbit Books, as always, for sending me review copies. Despite the high number of quantity of books that I always get each month, well, Orbit Books is one of the one that is very consistent, one of the very few traditional publishers that is always very consistent in sending me review copies that I want. And yeah, thank you so much. Really, it means a lot because I'm an international reader, and I know this is something that doesn't come easy. And moving on to the next one, this is something I'm incredibly excited about. This is Arthur by Giles Christian, the third and the final book in the standalone trilogy of the Arthurian Tales by Giles Christian. The first book was Lancelot, and then the second book was Camelot, and finally we have Arthur. And yeah, I look forward to reading this. It has been quite a while. I mean, you can see here, this one is being published in June 2024. Well, Camelot, the second book in the Arthurian Tales, was released in 2020. So it has been 4 years since Camelot came out. I love Lancelot more than the second book, and hopefully Arthur will be a book as good as Lancelot, or maybe even better. This is the conclusion to the trilogy after all. And yeah, Judge Christian has a beautiful writing style, and also when the actions happen, it always feels visceral and so easily. It is always easy to imagine, and I look forward to experiencing that once again in Arthur. Thank you so much to Judge Christian for sending me a copy, an advance reading copy of this one. And onward to the next two books. These are sent to me by Saga Press, and the first one is I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons by Peter Beagle. And Peter Beagle is definitely most well known for his work on The Last Unicorn. And honestly, I know this sounds like a sin, but I haven't read anything by Peter Beagle yet, including The Last Unicorn. And when I saw that this book is up for request, I asked Saga Press whether it will be possible for me to get a copy, an advance reading copy of I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons or not by Peter Beagle. And this cover art is done by Justin Jarrett. I assume the hardcover edition will look even better because it will contain a new illustrated end papers by Justin Garrett and also Annie Stack. But more importantly, I hope the book is good. As I said, I heard nothing but amazing things about The Last Unicorn. I hope that I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons will be good as well. And then I got a copy of Jump Knots by Hao Qingfang. Yeah, I haven't read anything by Hao Qingfang yet, but this one is translated by Ken Liu, one of my favorite authors of all time. And well, I look forward to reading this. I know pretty much nothing about this one except that this is a sci-fi novel. This was sent to me unsolicited by Saga Press, and I am thankful. Thank you so much to Joe Monti and also Saga Press for sending me these two books. We only have 3 books left to showcase, and they are all special editions. And of course, this book haul is incomplete without me talking about the Broken Binding book. And it is, tada, Shackled Fates, the second book in the Hang God trilogy by Tilde Colt-Holt. And yeah, the cover art is done by Randy Vargas. Beautiful cover art, although I love the cover art of the first book more. But the cover to this entire trilogy, with all of them illustrated by Randy Vargas, they are all absolutely magnificent in my opinion. And yeah, this is a wraparound cover art. There is a quote on the back here. And there is a spray edges, digitally designed edges by Katrina Paints. And of course, I have to show you this beautiful end paper by Rene Eichner. I am going to assume that this is Jormungand going to attack a Viking ship here. That's my assumption anyway. And again, this is done by Katrina Paints. I'm going to show you here. Ta-da! This is designed by Katrina Paints, and it goes all the way back. And at the end, it will connect to the third and also the first book. When you line this line art together, all of them will connect. And this is the back and paper. Again, by Rene Eichner. This is definitely Yggdrasil, and I look forward to reading this trilogy just because I want to find out what's going on inside this beautiful illustration. And so thank you so much to The Broken Binding for sending me Shackled Fates, and I look forward to receiving the third book this month. And finally, for the last 2 books that I got, these were big surprises for me. I did not expect I would ever receive these books from the Folio Society. And yeah, I have made a separate video unboxing these books, and these are A Clash of Kings by George R. R. Martin, Folio Society edition. And this is still in the slipcase. I have talked about this in more details in my unboxing video, but honestly, this is one of the most stunning special editions of all time, and I still cannot believe that Folio Society sent me a copy of it. And of course, this is A Storm of Swords. Ta-da! Every artwork, every sigils inside these beautiful editions, all of them are done by Jonathan Burton. And as you can expect from Folio Society, these editions, they are all Smithson binding, comes with thick acid-free paper, and also just a stunning edition all around. I mean, they are not cheap. These books are expensive, and it is very understandable why they are expensive. These are books that will last decades or maybe your lifetime. And I look forward to doing a second read of A Song of Ice and Fire using this edition from the Folio Society. I'm still missing a copy of A Feast for Crows and also A Dance with Dragons, and I hope I can acquire them someday. But just having 3 of them, 3 books in A Song of Ice and Fire, Folio Society edition, it already means so much to me. So thank you so much to Folio Society once again for sending me a copy of A Clash of Kings and A Storm of Swords. So that's really it for all the books that I got last month in the month of February. I'm really grateful to all the gifts and review copies and special editions that were sent to me by publishers and friends. I still cannot believe that people are sending me books all the time. It means a lot to me because it's not easy. It is not easy to acquire books in Indonesia, where I live, ever since Book Depository closed down. Well, it is still possible to buy from my local bookstore, but as you can probably guess, they are very expensive. So it means a lot to me that publishers, authors, and friends around the world are sending me books to be read and reviewed. Some of them are very expensive books as well. And yeah, I think that's really it for all the books that I got last month. But just to answer one brief question, because I got some questions regarding do I own a reading light? Well, I actually acquired this a few months ago and I keep on forgetting to mention it. It is completely my fault. And this is reading light from Glucosan. I've been using this every time I read a physical book at night, and yeah, it is incredibly useful in my opinion. I'm going to use an example here. You just clip this over here and that's it. Ta-da! You can just open the page. Well, you have to you can adjust this and yeah, ta-da, like this. It's very useful when I'm reading at night. And honestly, Glucosan sent me this one about a few months ago and it only arrived at my place, I think last month, or maybe it was in January, but I've been using it for quite a while now and it is incredibly useful, not gonna lie. And it is not expensive as well. If you want to own it, you can check it out on Amazon. I will leave the link to the details in the description down below. So that's really it from me today. Do let me know what you think about all the books that I acquired last month. And of course, let me know how many books you got last month and which one excites you the most. What were some of your favorite acquisitions last month? And as always, thank you so much for watching and thank you for your support. Bye-bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.